future forecasting group decided to try and look at 2050, and we were looking at more health and science related data for the future. And everybody's sessions came back with all kinds of different, like, just really bad scenarios. Is it luminosity data? Is it? But there wasn't corroboration on it. It was a bunch of, I think Derek had a tsunami. I think Nyiam had civil war. There's just all this crazy stuff, and we were like, okay, well, what does this mean?
I'm just saying, I'm looking at my session now, and now it kind of makes more sense.
Let's just go through the sessions.
Since I'm already here.
Yeah, that's a good
Naeem,
idea.
Started out, name.
Looking at the first land, immediately the probe I get was like natural disaster feel and like the sense of mega wind. And I saw people in amongst some kind of vertical structures, like not buildings. I don't know what they were, but people kind of hunched up around these structures in a rural area, and the emotions are like panic, escape, run, natural disaster feel. Then I saw what looks like a government type building, like would have like a fence or walls around it, a dome area there, and a group of people outside of it. They're angry, they're upset, and it's like takeover or protest, fed up, disappointment. I even got the word intrusion or intruder in a sense of a rush. So maybe trying to rush into a government building. And then I showed the people in what feels like a quarantine zone, dangerous environment warning, safe zone. And the probe on them is like, not fair, let us go, release us.
Thanks, Nyiam. Who wants to go next?
I can go. Let's see. Regarding the money, it was like emptying out vaults or something like that, draining out, a big draining situation going on, restricting, removing. It's like the dollar was on its side. Everything felt really shaky. Modernization efforts and all that, but it was really this kind of oppression of others and kind of like, if any of this is true, then nothing much new is happening in 50 and 25 years. Okay, so this was more like putting a mark on someone. This could be that mark of the beast stuff. But this is where, the whole feeling of it was this kind of shifting moods between two different parties of people at this kind of tall building here. And some people were happy, some were not happy, and that was kind of the divide. You got the haves and the have-nots. Some people are happy and some aren't. So that was the main thing. Assessing people and things. New levels and different forms of governance. Next to new generations, older generations die out, new generations programmed in, tokenization elements here, man and machine merging elements, very future tech. And that's what I had to ask, is there anything here that I can say that is new? You know what I mean? Can I say anything that is actually new? Instead of all this has been said a million times. Tracking things, people, no, not really. Records is an old practice. It isn't new. It's just evolving.
Thank you, Edward. Okay, so we got Daz, Dick, and Derek left.
That looked like an open eye, but it really had a glow to it. Yeah, some real doom and gloom kind of feel here. Open sea, shocking. Target seemed to involve an oceanic disturbance causing a massive water displacement. People unprepared, casualties, injuries. Not necessarily tidal waves, but enormous waves ripping the coastline. And an element of objects being smashed, potential missile, comet-like object. Land, this is the wave that I see coming, hitting the coastline, and I got the sense that it was man-made. Imminent danger, rushing wall of water. And then here, like a fireball glowing red above the clouds, ripping sound like it's breaking the sound barrier. Massive detonation impact, water displacement, sending enormous waves in every direction, and then an eerie silence, calm before the storm. But this was like a wave or a wall of water coming toward you. This was not like looking out at the ocean and seeing ocean swell. And then observed from space, massive impact from the surface, Looking at the sky, darkness rushes in, blotting out the sun. Daylight suddenly dark as night. Ominous feeling of dread. Rare event. Few people are prepared for. Like a meek will inherit the earth type of reset. Man-made, long-lasting natural consequences.
Daz, you want to go next?
Yeah, can do. But this isn't realized yet. This feels very fluid and not yet formed. So it's almost like I was looking at something that wasn't, it was in the future. It wasn't an actually realized thing yet. But I felt like the whole thing would lead to conflict, flames, anger, destruction. But another route over time leads elsewhere. So there's like two routes for the future. One led to the bad stuff here, the fucked up one, and another route led to being okay. But the one that led to the things being okay was a bit farther away than the fucked up one. But it felt very unphysical to me as well. Not physical. So there's like all this was like words and stuff like that. So the target felt not very physical to me. But the thing was, it was just a huge opposing dynamic, energetic, emotional release. And I wrote here, the closest thing I can think of this is like the death of JFK or Diana kind of emotional global feeling or impact. And that's the closest from my personal experience to what I felt that these guys were picking up on. An older male, over 50, very experienced and decisive. But it was like an international influence that he had here, and he had a huge ego and a dark agenda here, and he wanted to be a part of history. And he had a loose plan, which is very strategic, like chess-like, and it involved a lot of spying here, and spying then was a big focus that I picked up on. So I felt that there was a multi-level global scheme that uses spying and comms and people to influence results, and it's all very political, very dark, devious. Lots of things like blackmail being used, safe houses, electrical comms, everything monitored, clearing houses, a vast network of layered people collecting information and manipulating people. And everything to do with this was all political. I looked at the aim for this. It was just domination, power, control, and ego. This is all because of a very dangerous man. He uses people. He has a long-term dark agenda. He has a warlike agenda with destruction. Anything goes. And he's secretly manipulating everything on many levels, using a complex team of people, intel trained, social trained, spies, and lots of covert activity. It's an information game. There's a plan, which is to do with movement over borders, a bit like a land grab. And it felt very high up, presidential, or like a top command structure here. Lots of spying, again, info gathering, manipulation, with AOLs here of Washington.
Thank you, Daz. Very interesting. And then Dick, you're up last.
I went full Edward Riordan right off the bat. This is full Edward Riordan. While everything around it is crumbling, the obelisk remains. So, woo.
Very ominous. Very ominous.
Yeah. What if they sentenced Trump to jail and 50,000 patriots surround him and say, nope, we're not going. We're not, just like form a human chain 500 deep, like surround when they try to take him out. I got the idea of people witness a dramatic energy thing, but it's manufactured. It's like an AI or hologram. So yeah, my theme of this is stuff is created out of nothing. Like you're witnessing things that don't really exist. Big light shows, like you see a lot of things, like Project Blue Beam, I guess. A lot of people see something big and dynamic that's manufactured. Dramatic cell phone videos, but it's designed and created.
You know what's interesting is that, we're going through all these sessions and